YouTube. Muy bien, muy bien. Buenos días. Buenos días y bienvenidos, bienvenidas. Welcome in. Uh, a little bit of housekeeping because we have some new folks in and we'll have some new people probably coming in watching the session after if they can't get on today. But some of you have heard this spiel before, but if you're new, you haven't. Um, After class, I send an email. It will have a link that has the recording of this class uploaded to YouTube so that you can watch it again, or let's say you had a doctor's appointment and you couldn't join class, you can watch the class afterwards. So my email after class will have the link to our YouTube recording of class, and it will have links for every video, every file that we used during class. So that hopefully you don't have to take like copious notes and divide your attention between what you're writing and what you're seeing on the screen and listening to people. So all the materials will be in the email. That email today will be a little bit later than usual because, of course, Marilyn's brakes went out while she was driving yesterday. The brakes went out, all the red lights on that dashboard, every single red and yellow light lit up. And I was nervously driving back home with handbrake, pump, handbrake, pump. Oh, this was, yes. So, uh, today's email will be a little bit late because I have to meet the tow truck person after class, and I get to talk with the service people about the many thousands of dollars they will doubtlessly charge me to fix whatever massive brake problem I have. Okay, but enough of me. Bien. Uh, Today, I want us to be I want first class to be just an easy stepping stone for some of you who are new in. You may be feeling, is this level right? What are we going to do? Well, today is just going to be an introductory thing especially for new people to introduce themselves. It's the day of, we're doing some no, I guess there is a theme. Our little theme, such as it is for today, is about asking people simple questions and answering the simple questions. Okay, so there is maybe a little more exposition today, but we're going to like watch a video, do some examples, watch a little video, do some examples, have you participate in bien for today. And any questions you have along the way, always feel free to interrupt, ask your question. If you have a question, likely a couple other people also have the same question. So always feel free to ask in the middle of class. And always feel free to email me after class with ideas of topics, things that you want to cover during this session that runs through October 20th. Things that are on your checklist for here are things that I know I need to work on, which is good. We assume with this class that you only know some simple present tense, okay? That you're not into like multiple tenses, juggling through all that. Bien, vale. Vamos a empezar. We're going to start. We're going to start by sharing a video that talks about questions. And I'm going to run this video with you today, but I want you to keep in mind that there are parts of this. I didn't want you to watch this all totally on your own, this one, because there are parts where she takes her examples very slowly, and then parts where she speeds it up so fast. Don't be put off by when she says something slowly, that's great. Listen for it. They're going to follow up with step two of like the fast version of that phrase. Ignore that. Okay. I don't expect you to understand anybody who is speaking as fast as she's going to do in those examples. So listen only for the slow repetition first. This is about 10 questions. Sí, 10 preguntas. 10 preguntas. 10 questions. 10 questions that Spanish speakers use all the time. So I'm going to put that on a share video and we're going to stop and listen to it. I'm going to tell you why though these are important. There are some which, even though they're like super simple, they are actually pretty important. Quiero saber, I want to know if you can see this lady in the pink and blue shirt. ¿Sí? La
Yes.
puedes ver, ustedes la
Spring.
pueden ver. You guys can see her. ¿Sí? Ok. Bien. Ella va a hablar. She's going to talk, va a hablar de 10 preguntas muy comunes. 10 preguntas que, que son muy normales en una conversación típica. ¿Entienden? ¿Sí? Ok, vale. Bien, and.
Do and they do come up on a daily basis. Cosas como: Olis, yo soy Maura de Spring Spanish y en este video revisaremos 5 categorías de las preguntas que todo nativo hace a diario. Empecemos. Número 1. ¿Cómo estás?
Okay, you're going to see some different ways to ask that same question as well. See, ¿cómo estás? Right? And people will generally spit this question out really, really quickly. ¿Cómo estás? Muy fácil.
Y similares.
And similar things.
There's several things we can ask to mean how are you. La principal es la clásica, infalible o foolproof, ¿cómo estás? Pero tenemos alternativas como ¿qué tal? ¿Qué tal?
Here's an alternative. ¿Qué tal? And I'm getting a little feedback from somebody's background. You may want to put that. Oop, there goes my Zoom. You may want to put yourselves on mute while you listen in case you've got folks talking in the background. Okay, ¿qué tal? Here's your alternative you may hear instead of ¿cómo estás? Right? ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal is a little less formal. How's it going? Yeah. So you should be prepared for different ways to hear that
¿Qué
question.
más? ¿Qué más?
Marilyn,
Sí,
pregunta.
sí,
With
sí.
¿qué tal? With ¿cómo estás? Like if there are multiple people, you would say ¿cómo están? And yeah, there
Ah,
is something else going on. But how
s-
does that work with ¿qué tal?
¿qué tal is flat standard, no changes. Right. Marcos, qué buen punto. What a good point. Um, ¿Cómo estás is the informal, the tú, the informal, the friendly you version of that question, right? ¿Cómo estás? It could come out as ¿cómo están? If you're standing there with your spouse, with your friend, with 5 people, with only one other person, they'll ask it as the plural, how are you guys? Yeah. And then instead of ¿cómo estás? Ending with an S, it'll be ¿cómo están? Ending with an N. ¿Cómo están? ¿Cómo están? And typically with ¿cómo están? You may not hear the word ustedes, you guys. Yeah. It may not be ¿cómo están ustedes? They'll usually, if they're looking straight at you, they assume from context that you know they mean ustedes. So they drop the word ustedes. ¿Cómo están? How are you guys? Okay. But ¿qué tal is just always tal because there's no verb in there. ¿Qué tal? How goes it? How's it going? How you doing? It does not have a verb. It does not change. Whether you're talking to one person or a bunch of people, it's always ¿qué tal?
¿Cómo vas? O ¿cómo va todo?
Here is yet another way people may ask, how are you? ¿Cómo vas? ¿Cómo vas? How do you go? But ¿cómo vas or cómo va todo? How goes all? How's it going? Yeah. How's it going? So if people are asking about how are you, these well, I cuatro. Yeah, there are four different ways you may hear it come out. ¿Cómo estás? Right, which could be the other little change in that verb of ¿cómo están? Or ¿qué tal? ¿Qué más? What more? ¿Cómo vas? Or ¿cómo va todo? You may hear any of
¿Cómo
those.
vas? ¿Cómo
Bien.
va todo?
How
Búscalas en
did
el
you
diálogo.
Sí. Question? Pregunta?
my-
No? Okay.
how
Vale.
did you see that it
She's going
says
to move on.
sunny day?
Hola,
She's
volví.
going to do her little
Hola,
role play.
volví. Olis, ¿cómo estás? ¿Qué tal todo?
Now, there was a slow presentation. She's going to speed it up. Don't worry if you don't understand the fast one. No biggie.
Olis, ¿cómo estás? ¿Qué tal todo? Buenísimo. Tengo demasiado que contarte.
Super good. Buenísimo. Super good. I've got just too much to tell you. Huh?
¿Tú cómo estás? Buenísimo. Tengo demasiado que contarte. ¿Tú cómo estás?
Super fast. Don't worry.
Todo bien, tranquilo. Tú eres la que viene con cuentos. Todo bien, tranquilo. Tú
And that todo bien tranquilo is a typical response. Yeah. Bien, I'm well. Todo bien, all good. Stuff like that. Okay.
eres la que viene con cuentos. Y fotos. Y fotos. As it happens in many languages, this ¿cómo estás? And alternatives often work as a greeting and not so much as an actual question.
Oh, so sometimes instead of saying buenos dias, that may just come out first. We do that in English, right? So it may be used as just a greeting in place of buenos dias or buenas tardes or buenas noches.
La típica respuesta sería bien, ¿y tú? Bien, ¿y tú?
Here are typical responses to that question. Bien, ¿y tú? Well, and you? Yeah.
Muy bien, muy bien. Todo bien,
Muy bien, very good. Todo bien, all good.
todo bien.
So those are all typical ways that people respond. Of course, if you feel really lousy, you can answer mal, mal. Things going badly, but you know, a lot of times reflexively, we just say it's fine because we want to move on to whatever else we want to say with the person.
Número 2. Partículas de pregunta.
Particular particles of questions, little snippets of questions.
Of course, we do have the same question particles that most languages do, and they do come up on a daily basis. Cosas como, ¿por qué? ¿Por qué?
And when she says particles of questions, that means this is a question that just comes out. It's just a question that's got a question word, but maybe there's not a verb attached to it yet. So that's what they mean by particle. There's not like a string of a question word and a verb. And sometimes we ask questions that way where just, oh, somebody needs to go on mute. Para que sepan, so you know. Okay, bien.
No has llamado al médico.
¿Y por qué? ¿Por qué? Why? ¿Por qué no has llamado al médico? Why haven't you called the doctor? ¿Y por qué? You know, sometimes people may just ask, well, why? And not attach a verb to it. So you'll hear these kinds of question word particles asked many times to ask a question.
¿Por qué no has llamado al médico? ¿Qué? ¿Qué haces? ¿Qué haces?
Que is just what. And sometimes that's used, sometimes for if somebody didn't hear you properly, for you to repeat something, you know, repeat a question. Que, what? Sometimes we attach something to que to make a formal sentence, a formal question like ¿Qué haces? What are you doing? ¿Qué haces? ¿Qué haces?
This question even works as a hello over text messages. ¿Dónde? ¿Dónde?
Here's another particle question. It's only asking about a place. ¿Dónde? ¿Dónde? Okay. So even if you stumble with, I'm not good with conjugating verbs, if you're traveling somewhere, a lot of times with some um, um, hand language, talking with your hands, using a prop like a map, donde in a map, somebody will know at least what you're asking for. So, donde, where, the where particle of the question.
compraste este café? ¿Dónde compraste este café?
Where did you buy this coffee? ¿Dónde compraste? And the compraste is a past tense. Don't worry about that. The donde part is important, that we know that donde is asking about where, a location. It's asking about location.
¿Cuándo? ¿Cuándo termina la reunión?
Cuando. Cuando is a particle questions. Cuando is talking about time. Yeah. Donde is asking about a place. Cuando is asking about time. Cuando termina la reunión, there's a full question with a question word, cuando, when, and matched up with a verb. When ends the meeting? Yeah. In Spanish, our question word will come up first, and usually there will be a verb right after the question word. And then any other, instead of when does the meeting end in English, when ends the meeting? Okay. Cuando termina la reunión?
¿Cuándo termina la reunión? ¿Cómo? ¿Cómo se dice infalible en inglés?
Yeah. Como is another particle. Como is how. All right. Como also is used sometimes when somebody, again, like, okay, hey, what did you say? Might come out just as como, meaning they didn't quite hear your question. They'd like you to repeat it. Como, what did you say? Yeah. It may just come out as como, but como matched up with a verb might sound like the question you see below in red. ¿Cómo se dice? How does one say? How do you say in you in general? ¿Cómo se dice?
¿Cómo se dice infalible en inglés? Presta atención al diálogo para más contexto.
So she's going to put it in a little
¿Dónde
dialogue.
tomaste estas fotos?
Where did you take these photos? Oh, she's got it in English. En inglés, eh?
¿Dónde tomaste estas fotos? En Marrakech. En Marrakech.
And sometimes when we answer, we also answer in particles. All right. And again, all languages do this. Sometimes when we answer a question, we may not match up a verb and an object and all that stuff. Sometimes you'll just say, instead of I was in Marrakesh, just in Marrakesh, en Marrakesh.
¿Qué? ¿Por qué no me dijiste que ibas a Marrakech también?
What? Why didn't you tell me you were going to Marrakesh too? ¿Por qué?
¿Qué? ¿Por qué no me dijiste que ibas a Marrakech también? Pensé que te había dicho. Pensé que te había dicho. ¿Cuándo fuiste? ¿Antes o después de
Roma? And here she uses some past, so don't worry about that. You're just getting used to the cuando being asking about time, okay? Bien.
Roma? ¿Cuándo fuiste? ¿Antes o después de Roma? Como ya sabes, escuchar a los nativos es la mejor manera de procesar este tipo de frase repetitiva. So here's where I kindly invite you to check out our Spanish challenge radionovela, Los Cazadores de Tormentas. It was created exactly with this in mind. You'll be able to learn and
Okay,
study
there's some shameless self-promotion. We're going to skip through that. We're going to go to our next word. Oh, our next thing that is a question that you hear people talk about on a daily
nuestro video.
basis.
Número 3. ¿Qué hora es?
¿Qué hora es? Don't be surprised. In some regions, instead of hearing ¿qué hora es?, which is like cuando, but more specific than cuando, right? Cuando, when, could be answered with in the morning or later in the afternoon or just later, right? But ¿qué hora es? What hour is it? What we're really asking is what time is it? don't be surprised in some regions if you hear this expressed in a plural way. Some people tend to do that. So instead of ¿qué hora es?, the question may come out as ¿qué horas son? Right? Instead of es, it could be son. That's just a regional quirk. You might hear it that way, you might not. But ¿qué hora es? Is understood by everybody. ¿Qué hora es? What time is it?
Por alguna razón, los seres humanos preguntamos esto
For some reason, human beings, we ask this all the time.
demasiado.
Too much. We
Probably
ask this
once
too
every
much.
hour. La pregunta principal es ¿qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? Pero algunas alternativas pueden ser.
But some alternatives to ¿qué hora es?
¿Tienes hora? ¿Tienes hora? ¿Sabes qué hora es? ¿Sabes qué hora es? Pendiente en el
Okay, I'll take our subtitles off. There are some alternatives to ¿qué hora es? Or ¿qué horas son? And ¿tienes hora? And that's like we ask in English, do you have the time? Do you have the time? Right? And the tienes is the have part. ¿Tienes hora? Do you have the hour? Do you have the time? Right? Or ¿sabes qué hora es? ¿Sabes? Do you know? ¿Sabes is asking tú, you personally, in an informal way. ¿Sabes qué hora es? Do you know what time it is? Okay, so those are other tweaks that people will ask that same information.
diálogo. Espera, ¿sabes qué hora es? Espera, ¿sabes qué hora es? Ni idea, ni idea.
Ni idea is always no clue. No idea. Ni idea. Ni idea.
Amanda, ¿tienes hora? ¿Tienes hora? Número 4. ¿Quieres?
Okay. ¿Quieres is the tú form for querer. Querer, to want. Okay. ¿Quieres?
Querer es un verbo muy común para usarlo como pregunta.
Sometimes we use querer a lot. ¿Quieres may only be out there. That's the whole, it could be the whole question. Often if somebody is offering you something to share or to look at something in a store, right? They may just use that verb, ¿quieres? Right? Do you want? Which sounds like it's kind of a hanging question, but you'll see in the little dialogue reenactment how she uses
It
this.
shows up on the daily in moments such as the one in the following dialogue. ¿Quieres?
¿Quieres? And she's just holding out the bag of chips. Yeah. In English, we would say, you want to have some, right? You want to have some. And you probably won't say chips. If you're holding the bag, they know you're looking at chips, right? In Spanish, that question will often just come out as one word, ¿quieres? You want? Okay, so you may hear ¿quieres? Only as the verb by itself in a question. Es posible, it is possible.
No, gracias. No, gracias. ¿Qué quieres cenar hoy? ¿Qué quieres cenar hoy?
Okay, and here's a more typical use of ¿quieres? ¿Qué quieres cenar? What do you want to have for dinner? ¿Qué, what? ¿Quieres, do you want? Cenar, to eat for dinner. Yeah. ¿Qué quieres cenar? We might take off that word cenar and plug in a different infinitive to ask, what do you want to do? Like, ¿qué quieres? ¿Qué quieres tomar? What do you want to drink? You're at a cafe and they don't know if you want tea or coffee or just water or lemonade or whatever have you, right? ¿Qué quieres tomar? tomar, tomar. Bien. Vale. You may hear it paired up. We may take tomar, tomar out and plug in a different verb. ¿Qué quieres hacer? ¿Qué quieres hacer? What do you want to do? You're deciding on what to do during your vacation, por ejemplo. ¿Sí? Bien. So when you hear that question, and if you've got it on the subtitles, ¿qué quieres cenar? That word cenar can be any activity, not conjugated, infinitive kind of word. Okay.
Es tu bienvenida. Escoge tú. ¿Quieres salir o quieres pedir? Es tu bienvenida, escoge tú.
Yeah. ¿Quieres salir? Do you want to go out? O quieres pedir? You want to order something. Okay. And more examples there of how she paired up quieres with a second verb.
¿Quieres salir o quieres pedir? Déjame pensarlo.
Let
Déjame
me think
pensarlo.
about it.
Número 5.
Here is one of the most famous things. Talk about a particle. Here is a question. ¿Y? That's the shortest question you'll ever hear in Spanish. Yeah. Y means and, but very often people will use that as a question. Even though it has no verb, it has no noun, it's just the word and. Okay, let's see what she's talking about here.
¿Y? If you've been with us for some time, you know how much I love how powerful this little word can be in Spanish. So much so that I made an entire video about it that you can watch right here. En resumen, y te permite cosas como continuar conversaciones,
Yeah. It's used to continue a conversation. You'll see how.
cerrar argumentos,
To close an argument, meaning I'm done with this. Yeah, I'll illustrate later. We'll let her talk.
retar a la otra persona. Míralo en el
Throw it
diálogo.
back to the other
Pero
person.
no has dormido nada. Pero no
Wow, you haven't slept at
has
all.
dormido nada. ¿Y qué más da? Aunque no
And actually, I'm going to take this off so you can read it better. Let me back that up just a little bit. ¿Y qué más da? What more does it give? But we would probably say, what difference does it make? ¿Y? ¿Y, when it's used as a question, is often used kind of as what we might say in English as, and so? Or, so what? Yeah. ¿Y, when it's a question, is, yeah, and what about it? Okay.
da. Aunque no salgamos a cenar, no puedo acostarme ya porque es peor. ¿Y qué más da? Aunque no salgamos a cenar, no puedo acostarme ya porque es peor. Vale. Y entonces salimos, seguro. Vale. Y entonces salimos, seguro.
And here she connected y to entonces. But again, y might just be the question. You're kind of throwing the issue back to the person with when y is a question.
Yo digo que sí. Yo digo que sí. Now, everyday conversations can include this and more, but do you...
And okay, bien. So those are typical questions people use all the time, day in, day out, day in, day out. And some of them have alternatives like, ¿cómo estás? Paired up with could be instead, ¿qué tal? Could be instead, ¿cómo te va? How's it going for you? And that little E thing is an interesting question, that little word E. Who would think that E, the word that means and, could also be used as a question, but it can. Bien. Okay. Vale, good? Bien. So good to keep in mind some of these question words. The next thing we're going to look at, we're going to stop a little and stop at various points and throw the question out to all of you. Okay, so that was the little warm up. We're going to use this next one as an icebreaker. It's also about questions. Here, I think I don't need to turn on the subtitles. I think it's just going to run. Bien, momento. Okay, any question before we move on to the next part here where we're going to have you jump in and do some answering or no? No? Nada? Bien. Okay, let's take a look here. Next examples, it's gonna still be on the question theme, but we're going to stop at various points and rephrase that and ask it and have you guys do some, some answering here. Okay, ooh, and it took you guys off my screen. Hang on, let's try this one more time. Una vez más, una vez más. Okay, vale. Now you can see the lady in the black shirt, and I don't nod because I won't be able to see you because it took you guys off screen. See?
No.
¿La ven?
No.
Do you see? You don't see her. Okay, let's try
No.
one more time. Una vez más. Una vez más. ¿La pueden ver? Can you see her?
Yes.
Yes.
Con la blusa negra, con la blusa negra with the black
Sí.
blouse. Okay, vale.
Ah.
These are also about normal questions. This is a little more fleshed out. It will have some past things in it, will stop, but these will be typical questions you'll hear if you're on vacation, okay, in another country. And we're going to stop and do some of these with you guys. We're going to have you guys do some answering with these. So this is a little different than the first video. See?
Gracias por los amables comentarios que me dejaron en este video. Gracias a ellos vamos a hacer más videos interactivos donde puedan practicar su español conmigo. Soy Paulísima, tu maestra de español en Spring Spanish. Hoy vamos a aprender cómo responder algunas de las preguntas.
We're going to learn how to respond. Here's where we're going to have you guys start to jump in. How to respond to some of these questions.
Que los mexicanos y otros hablantes de español te harán con frecuencia cuando visites su hermoso país.
So these are questions that people will ask when you are traveling to a different country, things that people will typically ask you to be polite, to make small talk. Yeah? Okay. Vale.
Are you ready?
Sí.
Marilyn, if you could back that up just a smidge to where you had it stop. What is the verb or the te aren? What's the verb aren?
Bien. Okay. Vamos a aprender, no question there, right? Today we're going to learn, but
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Here it is. Preguntas que te harán con frecuencia. Que preguntas was the word before the te. Preguntas que te harán. Harán comes from hacer. Harán is a true future tense. And so harán means they will make questions or they will ask. Remember, in Spanish, the verb to ask information is preguntar. Preguntar. Es el verbo. That's the verb. The noun is a feminine noun. Pregunta. Pregunta is a noun, but preguntar is a verb. But quite often when we say ask a question, it's hacer una pregunta.
Yeah.
Make a question. This is a frequent structure, a common way that people will say they want to ask a question. For example, I'm going to give you an example of how you may hear that. If I take a verb we had from that first video, quiero, I want. right? The yo form. Instead of quieres, do you want some? Quiero means I want. And quiero hacer una pregunta means I want to make a question. But what it really is saying is I want to ask a question. Quiero hacer, Hacer, quiero hacer una pregunta. I want to ask a question. And in this structure here, we've taken that verb hacer, pregunta, and we put it into what they call a future tense. I don't expect you to know that. But this is saying, by putting it in future, they're saying things that people will for sure ask you. They will ask questions like this if you are a visitor and they're making nice small talk with you. Okay? So te harán is they will ask you.
Cuando visites su hermoso país. Are you ready? Empecemos. Número 1. ¿Dónde aprendiste a hablar español?
And shoot, I told you didn't need to know any past. What's the first verb? It's a past verb. Ah, darn it. Aprendiste means did you learn? Yeah, because they assume you're not learning right now necessarily, but did you learn before you came to do this tour of the country? ¿Dónde aprendiste a hablar español? It's a question you may hear people ask you as somebody who is touring on vacation. Where did you learn Spanish?
Hablas muy bien. ¿Dónde
You speak really well.
aprendiste a hablar español?
Where did you learn to speak Spanish? So you will hear people asking a question like this, ¿Dónde aprendiste? And you can often answer with a fragment or with a full sentence. So we'll see how they respond, and then we're going to come back and practice that.
Oh yeah, every time I do this, that means it's your turn to answer, and then on screen we're gonna have some cues about how to answer. So, ¿cómo aprendiste a hablar español?
And we're going to see some examples after this, and then we'll practice.
Estudié español en la escuela.
Estudié is using a past, but look, we're going to take the chunk, the fragment, not a whole sentence, the fragment at the end as a way you may respond. Estudié español en la escuela. The fragment, if you want to leave a verb out and just give a shorty answer, is en la escuela, in school. En la escuela secundaria, in high school. En la secundaria, yeah? Con mi familia, with my family. They're going to give a couple more examples.
Estudié español en la escuela. También podrías decir,
You could also say, and they give you an example here of like using this video.
aprendí con Spring Spanish. ¿Y qué tal decir,
And here is ¿Cómo aprendiste? How did you learn? So let's stop out here and practice a little bit. ¿Dónde aprendiste? Where did you learn? ¿Sí? Or ¿cuándo aprendiste? ¿Sí? Español. ¿Sí? Aprendí en la escuela secundaria. En la escuela secundaria y en la universidad. ¿Sí? Bien? Okay. ¿Quién? You may want to take yourselves off of mute if you want to do some practicing with me now. ¿Quién? Who'd like to start off? ¿Dónde aprendiste? ¿Dónde aprendiste? Where did you learn? ¿Dónde
En la
aprendiste?
escuela.
En la escuela.
En la escuela. Bueno, ¿en la escuela primaria o en la escuela secundaria?
En la escuela secundaria.
Secundaria para Jean.
Secundaria. Ujú.
Sí, yo para ti. ¿En la primaria o la secundaria?
En la escuela secundaria.
secundaria. Es muy típico. Aquí en Estados Unidos es muy típico tener una clase de español en la escuela secundaria, ¿no? Bien, bien. Vale. ¿Quién? ¿Quién más? ¿Quién más?
Aprendí en la escuela secundaria y en la universidad.
Y en la universidad también. Magnífico, magnífico. Gracias, Jenny. Muy bien, muy bien. Ah, vale. Ah, ¿hay alguien? Is there somebody? ¿Hay alguien que aprendió como adulto? Como adulto, Marcos.
Sí, aprendí aquí con Marilyn.
Ah, bien, sí. And he is answering that second question you saw before we did a stop. ¿Cómo aprendiste? How did you learn? ¿Cómo aprendiste? Así. Ah, Marcos aprende con mi clase. Muy bien, gracias, Marcos. Ah, ¿quién más? ¿Alguien más como adulto? Anybody? ¿Alguien aquí aprendió como niño? Como niño, as a little kid?
No,
No.
No,
no.
no. Como niño, no, no. En Europa es común tener clases de idiomas, clases de lenguajes para niños, for little kids, ¿sí? Es común en Francia, en Inglaterra. Aquí no es muy común en Estados Unidos tener clases de lenguaje, ¿sí? Language, como niño, como niño. Ok, a ver, bien. Continuemos. Let's continue. We're going to move on to the next question and then we'll do another stop out and share. Okay. ¿Pueden verla? Can you see her again? ¿Sí?
Sí.
Sí. Bien. Okay. And she's going to do some examples of cómo aprendiste, how did you learn?
Aprendí español viendo películas y hablando con amigos.
I learned watching movies. A lot of people do that, especially nowadays with, streaming services. Sí. Viendo películas, watching movies. Y hablando and
Amigos,
talking.
si aún no te has suscrito al canal, hazlo ahora.
And I think we've got advertisement. Here we go. La siguiente. Next
¿Dónde
question.
eres?
¿De dónde eres? ¿De dónde eres? Una pregunta muy típica. Si tú eres turista o Juan, cuando tú eres turista, es muy típica, ¿sí? O es muy típico oír la pregunta, ¿de dónde eres? Where are you from? ¿Sí? ¿De dónde eres?
Los mexicanos son amigables y curiosos. Queremos conocerte. Así que ahora una pregunta sencilla. ¿Cómo responderías a ¿de dónde eres?
Bien. And she shows the flag.
Soy de Estados Unidos. Otro ejemplo.
And please, just quick side note again, I know this is kind of a repetitive reminder for some of you. Do not respond to this with soy de America. Uy, no, 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 no. The one you may potentially get a somewhat negative reaction to a response of soy de America, because that is seen badly. America is all of the Americas to a Spanish speaker. It means everything from Tierra del Fuego, way at the tip of Argentina, all the way up to the top of Canada. The Americas are both North and South. So don't respond to I am from America with the word America, right? Always mention the country. Or you can give a nationality. So we're going to look at alternatives for this too. The nationality for the response, instead of soy de Estados Unidos, I'm from the United States, could be a nationality alternative of soy estadounidense, soy estadounidense, I'm a US citizen, because that's what the word estadounidense means. That is a really long word. It is typically a difficult word for US people to learn to pronounce. Estado comes from estados, estadounidense, estadounidense, US citizen. You can make it shorter by saying soy norteamericano or
Okay.
norteamericana. Those are easier for US people to pronounce. Para que sepan. So, okay, we're going to have a couple of these and then we're going to come back. Another one could be, because many people who are learning Spanish are not from Estados Unidos.
Canada.
Yeah, sí.
Soy de Canadá.
Soy de Canadá.
Normal.
Soy de Canadá. Bien. I'm going to let her say a little bit more because I want you to notice something about this question of ¿de dónde eres?
Normalmente, cuando preguntamos a alguien de dónde es, lo que queremos saber es de dónde nos visitan, no realmente dónde nacieron.
Okay. Her point with this is when people ask, where are you from? A lot of people from the US, their typical gut reaction is they name a city or a state.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just a cultural thing on our part as people who are from the US, right? If you ask, where are you from? I may respond, I'm from Michigan. And when people ask you in a different country, that's not the best way to respond because they don't necessarily have a real great geographic map of where all of our 50 states are.
True.
Yeah. So generally, you do not want to respond with, soy de Idaho, soy de Texas, I'm from Texas. Well, maybe Texas would work, but soy de Colorado. They kind of don't want your state. They want to know what country you're coming from. See?
Okay.
Okay. So they're not asking where you were born or where you grew up with that question, ¿de dónde eres? Yeah. They may ask, like they may go deeper when they know you're from the United States, but that initial question is for country. See? ¿De dónde eres? Okay, so Sam, ¿de dónde eres?
Hold on. Soy de la United States. Estados United.
Okay, Estados Unidos.
Unidos. Okay.
Estados Unidos. Estados Unidos. States United. Estados Unidos.
Estados Unidos.
Estados Unidos. Perfecto. Estados Unidos. The alternative with nationality instead of naming the country could be soy norteamericano. Soy norteamericano, right? Or soy estadounidense. Estadounidense, right? Norteamericano is usually easier for us to pronounce because it sounds like North American. ¿Sí? Bien? Okay. Vale. Anybody who's not from the US originally here? Creo que no. I think not. So we won't have a lot of ways to answer that one. Okay. A ver. So don't go with your hometown.
I was going to say New York City. Nueva York, I was going to say.
Yeah, see. Okay. So, Sam, muy típico, very typically, you may answer, soy de Estados Unidos. Somebody may come back with a follow-up question, right? So the first question is, ¿de dónde eres? Where are you from? Same answers. Once again, una vez más. Once more, answer for me, Sam.
Soy de, oh boy, do it again.
Soy de Estados Unidos.
Estados Unidos.
Bien, bien. Okay, we'll get you used to that one. Estados Unidos, Estados Unidos. And somebody may then follow up. Ah, ¿de dónde en Estados Unidos? ¿De qué ciudad? ¿De qué ciudad? And now here's a follow-up, deeper question. Okay, Sam, I want you to role play with me. Ah, de Estados Unidos, qué interesante. ¿De qué ciudad? ¿De qué ciudad?
Soy de la ciudad Nuevo York.
Okay, ciudad de Nueva York. And you can just answer, Nueva York, Nueva
Nueva.
York. ¿Sí?
Okay.
Okay, bien. So aquí vamos a practicar. Here we can practice. Here's an in-depth one, not done in the video. We're doing this now. ¿De dónde eres? Soy de Estados Unidos. ¿De qué ciudad? From what city? ¿De qué ciudad?
Nueva York.
Nueva York. Bien.
What
Jean,
else?
¿de qué ciudad? ¿De qué ciudad?
Soy de Chicago.
De Chicago. Muy bien,
Chicago.
muy bien. Sí, sí, sí. Fantástico, fantástico. Yo, ¿de qué ciudad?
Soy de San Francisco.
Oh, San Francisco. Me encanta San Francisco. I love San Francisco. Sí. Marcos, ¿de qué ciudad?
Nueva York.
De Nueva York también. Muy bien, muy bien. Jenny, ¿de qué ciudad?
Soy de Cleveland, Ohio.
De Cleveland, Ohio. Muy bien, bien. Sí. Tengo primos en Cleveland. Tengo primos en Cleveland. Muy bien. Soy de una ciudad en Michigan. En Michigan. Sí, bien, sí. Las personas que viven en Michigan, sí, siempre usan la mano para describir de Michigan, sí. Soy de una ciudad en Michigan de aquí que se llama Grand Rapids. Uy, la ciudad de Jerry Ford. Ay, qué bien. Ok, vamos a continuar. We're going to keep going here. ¿Más preguntas? Ok.
¿Cómo dirías?
I live in. And here they're going to show you an alternative. I live in. So this won't be where you grew up. This is a little bit different. See? You might want to express where you are living right now. ¿Quién recuerda? Who remembers? ¿Cómo se dice I live in as a response?
Vivo.
Vivo,
Yeah,
vivo. Just that one word, vivo, and then you
vivo.
add sí. Vivo en. Vivo en, I live in. Vivo en, and then you name the place.
Si eres nuevo por acá, te cuento que en Spring Spanish enseñamos utilizando chunks, combinaciones de palabras que
And we can skip over that because we want to go over just our questions.
Número 3. ¿Qué te parece el clima aquí?
This does literally seem to be a question that you hear often abroad. I no entiendo por qué. I do not understand why. I think perhaps, especially if you're in a place that is really, really nice weather, like, many parts of Mexico, many nice parts of Spain. There are some colder parts of Spain too. ¿Qué te parece is the qué is the what word, right? ¿Qué te parece? How does it seem to you? What does it seem like to you? ¿Qué te parece el clima? El clima es the weather. And you can think of it as climate, that's fine. It's that, it means that too. But el clima, and notice it's not la clima, it's el clima. El clima is often used to talk about just weather in general, in addition to climate in general. So, ¿qué te parece el clima? Aquí just means here. How do you find the weather here? How does the weather here seem to you? And of course, they're probably fishing for a favorable response because of the beautiful weather in many of these countries. Bien.
The next question you might encounter is, ¿qué te parece el clima aquí?
And you probably don't need that verb chunk of te parece, does it seem to you, to answer this. Okay? So notice how we're going to answer this.
Hola, ¿qué te parece el clima aquí?
And I'll show some
¿Cómo
examples.
responderías?
How would you respond? Oh, I love the weather here. It's much warmer than in my country. They're fishing for a compliment. Well, of course they are. Why not? ¿Por qué no? Why not?
Me encanta el clima aquí. Es
Here's a typical response, and this is all you need to know. Me encanta. Me encanta. I love it. See? Seriously, are you ever going to tell when you're visiting somewhere, I hate the weather here? It's like the how are you question, you know? People respond in a positive way usually, but me encanta. Me encanta. I love it. Okay, we're going to let her give the rest of it.
mucho más cálido que en mi país.
It's much warmer. Es mucho más cálido. Es mejor. It's better. Mejor. Es mejor.
Or simply,
I like it a lot.
me gusta mucho.
Me gusta mucho. I like it a lot. Me encanta. I love it. That's like a big compliment, right? Me encanta is a magnification of me gusta. Me gusta is I like, simple. Me gusta mucho, I like it a lot. But we can take me gusta mucho, I like it a lot, and boom, me encanta magnifies that. Me encanta is I love something. Bien? Okay. Before we move on to that, okay, vamos a practicar. Pero vamos a hablar del clima aquí, ¿sí? Del clima aquí. O en el caso quizás de Jean, del clima en otro estado, you know, from another
Sí,
state, ¿sí?
sí.
Bien. ¿Cómo te parece el clima aquí? We're really talking about here now. ¿Cómo te parece el clima aquí? Marcos, ¿cómo te parece el clima aquí?
Um, la clima aquí es demasiado calor, cálido,
Caluroso
caluroso.
o caliente. ¿Sí? Sí. Ah, ahora aquí hace mucho calor, ¿sí? Hace mucho calor. En los últimos días, en los últimos 2 días, 3 días, es un poquito mejor, ¿no? Es un poquito mejor que antes, que antes. Jean, ¿cómo te parece el clima
Sí.
donde estás, where you
Me,
are?
me encanta el clima en Wisconsin.
Ah, te
Sí,
encanta el
te
clima en Wisconsin.
encanta. Yes,
Sí, normal.
sí,
Sí.
sí.
Ah, ¿Cuántos grados? How many degrees? ¿A
Six,
cuánto?
I'll actually do the Spanish. 70, is that 70?
70.
70?
¡Hoy!
70. Sí,
70 grados.
yeah.
Ok, el clima está a 70 grados en Wisconsin
Ujú.
ahora, hoy.
Sí,
Wow, es una temperatura ideal.
sí.
Es una, sí, es una temperatura ideal de 70 grados. 70 grados, wow. Es un sueño, that's a dream. Es un sueño ahora. Ok, vale. Bueno, Algo más. ¿Cómo te parece el clima? How's the weather seem to you? ¿Alguien más? Anybody else?
Me gustó mucho.
Bien. Joe, ¿te gusta durante el verano? Do you like it during the summer? ¿Te gusta
Ah,
durante el verano?
um, no mucho.
No mucho. Normal, normal, sí. A mi esposo, que está ya en su oficina, a mi esposo le encanta el calor. Le encanta el calor, ¿sí? Para él, la temperatura de 90 grados a un 100 grados es ideal. Para mí, no, ¿sí? A mí no me encanta el clima del verano aquí. A mí no. Me encanta el clima en octubre. Me encanta el clima aquí en octubre, noviembre,
December.
diciembre, en enero, en febrero. Febrero. Febrero es hace buen tiempo. Hace buen tiempo en febrero normalmente.
9 meses. 9 meses. 9 months.
9 meses. 9 meses. Buen clima. Sí. Junio, julio, agosto, no, no me gusta tanto, ¿sí? No me gustan ah, esos meses. Bien, bien, bien. Vale. ¿Cómo se dice? It's better now. It's better now.
Es mejor ahora.
Es mejor ahora. Bien, perfecto. Es mejor. Es un poquito mejor ahora, ¿sí? Bien, fantástico. Y me encanta cuando llueve. Me encanta cuando llueve aquí. ¿Bien? ¿Sí? Vale, perfecto. Ok. Adelante. Otra pregunta, otra pregunta.
Número 4. ¿Ya probaste la comida local?
And this question oddly does happen a lot, especially with, I think, more in Mexico than in Spain, maybe, but ya probaste. And that it's just saying the ya part is asking already, yeah, or yet. Ya probaste. Did you already taste or did you already try out? The probaste is just a past of did you try? So people are asking if you have sampled the local food. And in Mexico in particular, there is tremendous pride. It is not an exaggeration, tremendous pride with their cuisine and their food. Okay. By the way, they do not want to hear that you do not like hot food. So, if you don't be polite, just be polite. Because they really, really love it. They're very proud of it. It's like a national heritage thing. Ya probaste la comida local? Have you already tried the local food?
¿Ya probaste la comida local?
And of course, that can be a one-word answer, right?
Sí.
Sí.
Sí, ya la probé. Pero, ¿qué tal si todavía no la has probado?
What if you haven't already tried it yet?
No, todavía no la he probado.
Now, maybe that whole string is a little much to think of when you're asked a question, just off the cuff, and a shorter way to respond to say, I haven't done it yet, is the first part of that chunk. So let's take a look at the little subtitle. No, todavía no. Todavía no. Todavía no. is not yet. Because maybe you just got off the plane. Maybe you've only had 2 hours in the city when somebody asks you. See? Depende. Depends. Todavía no. Bien.
Say this even if you don't plan on trying Mexican food, because Mexicans can be very sensitive about their food, and
Mexicans can be very sensitive. This is true. They can be very sensitive about their food. They want to hear you say nice things about their food. Okay?
yeah, just say that you're gonna try. Número 5. ¿Qué es lo que más te ha gustado hasta ahora?
This is a typical thing locals will ask when you are traveling in another town. What's the thing that you liked so far? So this is kind of a long-looking question. Let's kind of break it into some chunks or parts. ¿Qué es? ¿Qué es? What is it? And ¿qué es is always a good thing. You know, it'll come out, it will sound like one word. ¿Qué es? No matter what is combined after the word es. ¿Qué es? What is? ¿Qué es lo que más te ha gustado? What you have most liked. Lo que, what? Lo que literally means that which. That sounds kind of formal and weird in English, so lo que más te ha gustado. O lo que más te gusta. What you like the best. Lo que más te gusta. It's a little easier to understand. Hasta ahora means up to now. Hasta ahora, up to now. So far. So people may understand that you may have only done 1 or 2 things, or maybe you've done 5 things in your tour up to that time. But they'll often ask, well, what did you like the best? Right? What thing, what site, what place, what activity? You know, maybe you're a scuba diver and, bucear. Scuba diving is snorkeling. See, hacer snorkel. Doing snorkeling is maybe your thing. Or maybe it's touring a museum. See, ver un museo, seeing a museum. Maybe that's your thing. People want to know what you enjoyed doing in their home country. So that's why they ask that question. ¿Qué es lo que más, and I'm going to make this a little bit question, lo que más te gusta? Lo que más te gusta? And we'll see some.
We love our food,
answers.
so for sure we're going to ask you about it. This one could easily be a continuation of the previous question, ¿ya probaste la comida local? So, ¿qué es lo que más te ha gustado hasta ahora?
Oh. ¿Cómo se dice? How would you say, I like the tacos? ¿Cómo? We're going to look at
gustan
tacos and guacamole. ¿Cómo
Me
se dice?
gustan tacos y guacamole.
You can answer, me gusta comer los tacos, o me gustan, with an N at the end, me gustan los tacos. Me gustan los tacos. What if the thing that you like is guacamole? ¿Cómo se dice I like guacamole? Me gustan with
Me
an N
gusta.
for
Yeah.
Perdón. Otra vez, again?
Oh. Me gusta guacamole.
Me gusta el guacamole. See, for one thing, guacamole, a singular thing, me gusta. Me gusta el guacamole. Me gusta el guacamole. Or for a plural thing, me gustan los tacos. Me gustan los tacos. Me gustan los tacos. Bien? Vale. Okay. Ver, we're going to come back to this in a minute. I forgot exactly how she finishes up. I want her to get her examples in. Okay.
Lo que más me ha gustado hasta ahora son los tacos y el guacamole. Muy bien. Recuerda, aprender un idioma no solo se trata de palabras, se trata de la cultura y la conexión con las personas. Si estás disfrutando esta lección interactiva, no olvides darle un pulgar.
Okay, and let's skip to the next question.
3 advertisements.
¿Cuánto?
Oh, perdón. Question? Pregunta.
No. I just said she has 3 advertisements. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Bien. Here is another typical question you may ask as a tourist in another country. So let's take a listen here. See? ¿Cuánto tiempo? ¿Cuánto is another question word, okay? ¿Qué is what? ¿Dónde is where? ¿Cómo is how? ¿Cuándo is when? ¿A qué hora? At what time? And ¿cuánto tiempo? How long? ¿Cuánto asks for a chunk of how much? ¿Cuánto tiempo? How much time? ¿Cuánto tiempo vas a estar aquí? How much time are you going to be here?
¿Tiempo vas a estar aquí? ¿Cuánto tiempo vas a estar aquí?
Ah,
2 semanas.
2 semanas might be one response. Sí, 2 semanas. ¿Cómo se dice 5 days, like you see on the screen?
5 días.
5 días, perfecto, perfecto. 5 días.
5 días. O aún mejor, nada más 5 días. Nada más 5 días.
And then nada más means what you see below it there, only. Yeah. Or just. Yeah, just or only.
Just 5 days.
Número 7.
Ok. Bien. Entonces, otras alternativas. Any other alternatives to ¿cuánto tiempo vas a estar aquí? How long are you going to be here? ¿Cuánto tiempo vas a estar aquí? We had a 5 días. We had a 2 semanas
Right.
from Sam. ¿Sí? ¿Qué más? What other ways might we respond to that?
2 años.
2 años? Maybe you're doing a long-term stay. ¿Sí? 2 años? 2 years?
Yes,
Bien.
Peter.
Bien.
Can I just ask a clarifying question?
Sí, sí, sí.
Is how much and how many the same? ¿Cuánto?
Qué buena pregunta. They are based on the same word. We will, that is a question worthy of,
Research.
well, not research, because we don't need read, but a lengthier answer. So I'm trying to think if I have a file, which I don't think I have a file just on that word. So rather than having to try to swim through a bunch, let's pull up a quick file here. A ver. And I'm going to put this up on share so you can see. Vale la pena. This is worth the effort. ¿Cuánto? Right? And they used this as cuánto tiempo in that video to say how much time. Whoops. To talk about a chunk of time, a length of time, right? But there are variations of this word. So let's take a look at this word cuánto, because this word cuánto may get different variations. So let's look at it. Typically, you may hear, or you may need to ask, ¿cuánto cuesta? Right? ¿Cuánto cuesta? That is, and I'm going to put a definition here, variance of cuánto. Not cuando, cuánto. And by the way, you have to listen kind of carefully for the difference between cuánto and cuando. Yeah, because D's are softer and T's are often softer. So the difference between cuando, when, and cuánto can be a little hard for the English ear to hear, because it will not be pronounced as cuanto. Cuanto. It'll be cuanto. cuánto. That T is less explosive versus, and you will not hear it as cuando. Yeah? It'll be cuando. So that D will be soft too. But cuánto cuesta? How much does it cost, right? See? Or that thing of cuánto tiempo, how much time, right? So that is cuánto, but you may hear cuánto kind of morph or change into cuántos, which is a plural and a masculine, or cuántas, which is plural but a feminine, yeah, or even maybe cuánta, but you may not hear that as much. So when do I need to know, how do I know if I need a cuánto or an S on the end, cuántos? These with the S at the end, right, mean we're asking not how much, but how many. Yeah, an S at the end. So, okay, un ejemplo, an example. ¿Cuántos días estás aquí? ¿Cuántos días estás aquí? How many
Days.
days are you here, right? ¿Cuántos días estás aquí? ¿Cuántos días estás aquí? All right. Or if you walk in and you are booking a room and it's a last minute thing, you didn't book ahead, right? No es muy normal, not real normal, but some people might do that. So they may ask you at a hotel, how many days are you staying, right? ¿Cuántos días? ¿Cuántos días? So cuántos needs to be plural there when it's paired up with a thing. Días is a thing, a noun, and it's a masculine plural. ¿Sí? ¿Cuántos días estás aquí? ¿Sí? ¿Cuántos días? If somebody wants to know how many coins you've got, like say you need to use coins to tip somebody or coins to put in a machine to, like a vending kind of thing, something like that. Instead of the word días, which is a masculine plural word, you might have a feminine plural word like monedas, right? And let's say you need coins to run a laundry or, stick in a machine to get a ticket or something like that. Now, I can't use cuantos with the word monedas. So what little change do I make to that? I just make it feminine, but with
Cuantas.
the S at the end. Yeah, cuántas. ¿Cuántas monedas? ¿Cuántas monedas necesitas? How many coins do you need to, put in this machine? ¿Sí? ¿Cuántas monedas? ¿Sí? Bien. So these words, these are variations of cuánto from the question cuánto tiempo, how much time. When I pair it up with a masculine thing, cuántos días, how many, instead of how much, like cuánto cuesta, it's cuántos días. And notice cuánto, just by itself with no S, it's paired up right with the verb, right? How much does it cost? Or somebody may even just you can ask that question as ¿cuánto es? How much is it? Right? Still a different way, just a different variation of how to ask how much something costs. ¿Cuánto es? How much is it? ¿Cuánto cuesta? How much does it cost? Right? But if I pair it up, instead of pairing it up with a noun, ¿cuánto es? With a noun, cuesta, ¿cuánto cuesta? when I pair it up with a noun here instead of with a verb in the questions ahead of time that we used up at the top, that we have to look at the noun we're pairing it up with, right? ¿Cuántos días están aquí? Somebody may ask, you're getting on a bus, let's say, por ejemplo, ustedes esperan un autobús. You're waiting for a bus, right? El conductor, the driver, el conductor dice, les dice, he says to you guys, ¿cuántas personas van? How many people are going? ¿Cuántas personas? Because I'm pairing it up with people, persons, a feminine plural thing, that becomes the cuántas, feminine question word thing. Most question words don't change into a masculine and a feminine or a plural form. Yeah. Donde is always donde. Cuando with the D, right, is always cuando, right? Um, que is always just that word, que. Como doesn't change the form of the word como. Como, how, is just that. But cuanto is kind of an outlier, right? When it looks at a noun and is describing a noun to say how many, it looks at the gender, masculine, feminine, and the number, singular or plural, of that noun it's talking about. Sí, está bien, Joe.
Sí, gracias. One more question.
Sí, 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 dime.
Since we're talking about questions,
Uh-huh.
how do you say who?
Here's another outlier. Ooh, we're going to add this on so we can send this out as part of our little files. ¿Cómo se dice who? We haven't had a who question yet, but we will take a look at this here. Anybody remember our who word?
¿Quién?
¿Quién? Oh, uh, ¿quién? Who? Here is another one. This one is a little bit different. Donde doesn't change form. Como doesn't change form. Cuando doesn't change form. ¿Quién may change form? Anybody got an idea of what our form change might be a little bit different with this word?
The plural, ¿quiénes?
The plural. And the plural is just putting an ES on the end. ¿Quiénes? Who might take two forms. Who, because it's talking about people, can have a plural form. Okay, so think of who, if you have ever read your kids or grandkids, Dr. Seuss, the Who's of Whoville. In Spanish, we have who and we have whose. The Who's of Whoville. There is a plural for the who word, right? ¿Quién or quiénes? Let's take a look of how that might get incorporated into a question. En una pregunta muy típica. Somebody may ask, ¿quién es? Who is it? Yeah. Who's there? You know, if you're answering the door, answering the phone, or you're just pointing at, hey, who's that guy or that gal on the street? ¿Quién es? But notice we don't have a feminine and a masculine with the word quién. With cuánto, we had a masculine and a feminine form, not with quién. All right. So quién is always just one person, quién, or more than one person, quién. Let's look at the more than one person. ¿Quiénes son? Who are they? ¿Sí? ¿Quiénes son? ¿Quiénes son? ¿Quiénes son? If they want to ask who's coming, let's say again, you're with a big bus group, yeah? Bunch of people waiting on the bus. Maybe your group is splitting up. Maybe some people are doing a walking tour and some people are going on a bus tour. And maybe the bus driver is going to ask, hey, who's coming along here up on the bus? Who's coming? ¿Quiénes vienen? Who's coming? ¿Quiénes vienen? ¿Quiénes vienen? Who's coming? ¿Sí? Bien. Vale. Bien. Bien, Joe? Good? So far? Bien. Fantástico.
Gracias.
Fantástico. Okay. A ver. We're right up to our 11 o'clock hour. ¿Cuánto tiempo? Bien. I'm going to send you the tail end of this to watch her next question. I'm just going to preview what the next one is going to be because it is a word, it is a chunk or phrase that kind of perplexes people. It does something that as an English speaker you don't expect. And so I'm going to preview this part, but let you watch the rest.
¿Cómo te la estás pasando?
Wow. How are you passing it? It is not asking about your regularity issues. This is, we don't use the term tener buen tiempo, have a good time. You cannot do a literal translation for have a good time. Have, tener, buen, good, tiempo, time. That does not work. As a matter of fact, most people will look at you like, huh? And not understand that question. The way, and there's more than one way, but a atypical and a super common way of asking this question is, are you having a good time? ¿Cómo te la estás pasando? How are you passing it? Yeah. La with pasar, la, you see that little word la with pasar is used to say have a good time. Even the word good is nowhere in that sentence. That's just the way they say it. ¿Cómo te la estás pasando? I'll just do the little preview there.
¿Cómo te la estás pasando?
And we're going to riff on this pasando maybe next week, at some point next week, but not quite yet. But they're asking for like, right now, right? In the here and now. Now, as we are talking, are you enjoying yourself? ¿Sí? ¿Cómo te la estás pasando?
Muy bien, gracias por preguntar.
Very good. Thanks. Thanks for asking. Gracias por preguntar. Thanks for asking. ¿Sí? Bien. Okay, vale. I don't want to get too far off because people may have things to do with their day. I'll leave just that little snippet. There are only like 2 more minutes left on the end of that video. I'm going to include for you guys to do, and you may choose to listen to this or to skip it. There is, I'll put in the email that I send after class. It's kind of an optional video, but it talks about the most common, and we're talking the simplest verbs that are almost all irregular that you hear all the time. So it's going to be a little video like un repaso, a little review on like the simplest verbs that you will hear day in, day out, constantly, all the time. All right. And what the conjugations are for those verbs. If you need that video, watch it. If you don't, you can skip it. It'll be verbs like ser, estar, ir, tener, querer. It'll be those real basics that are used like 100% every single day, all the time in common conversation. So I'll send you that. And then I'm going to send you a second video that's going to be a listening. Every week you get a listening video. It is a more story-oriented video. What you want to do with that is definitely turn on the subtitles for most of you in Spanish so that you can kind of see it as she's speaking. This is going to be a very slow-paced video. It'll be a slow speaking rate that will be an easy beginner story to listen for. And there will be a few vocabulary words you may not know. You will probably be able to pick up what most of those words are that are new for you from the context, the visual context of what is happening. Okay. Your video is going to be on a kayaking trip, people talking about what they're doing during a kayaking trip. Just kind of a fun thing. And I'll have some related questions for you to bring to class, sort of based on your own activities. So you're going to have the video to watch for listening comprehension. That's it. And then some little personal questions asking you about yourself to answer some simple questions when we come back to class next week. ¿Sí? ¿Todo bien? Okay, todo bien. Vale, bien. And we will hopefully have time next week to do a little bit with the progressive things and why you may hear that happening when people speak with you. Any other things you want to work on, please feel free to send me an email with your requests and needs. ¿Sí? ¿Todo bien? All good?
Sí.
Magnífico.
Gracias.
De nada, de nada. Fue un placer. It was a pleasure. Fue un placer. Certainly much more fun I had with you guys than I will have riding in the tow truck to get my brakes fixed. Yay!
Bring your
Automatically, you're the better part of my day. Muchísimas
Bye.
gracias. Bien.
Adiós.
Vale,
Adiós.
bueno, hasta luego. Sí,
Luego.
que la pasen bien. Have a good time. Oh, and I didn't turn off my recording.